104.7 The K, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode number 80.
Gosh, what are we gonna do at 100? We better
Oh,
do
dude,
something
I don't
really
know.
good,
We're gonna have to
right?
make it big time,
Make a
big
big
time.
one.
But for the 80th one, I have to give it up for Mr. Jay Stevens here for suggesting a very good documentary about Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
It's called The Center of Nowhere, The Spirit and Sounds of Springfield, Missouri. And basically tells the story of, not among other things, the sounds and what kind of musical roots we've had here in town that is definitely significant. And you can actually watch this for free right now on Tubi TV.
Yeah,
So
it's
do
good.
it.
It's good. Especially it was good for me because I didn't really know the history, because I'm not from here. So it was nice.
It was, like I said, very well done. And I'm sitting there watching it. Like 99% of the stuff that I watched in this documentary, I knew about. Because I've been here for a long time. I've played music, all the venues they showed, I played at, studios recorded at, guys that they showed and I've worked with or known or whatever. But before I get into that, while I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, this is like what if you were coming to Springfield, Missouri. And
it should be in the
before
welcome
they let
package.
you move
It
in,
should be in the welcome package.
yeah, before they let you move in,
You
they
need to
sit
watch
you
this
down.
documentary.
It's like your first day at Burger King. You sit down, and they make you watch a training video. This would be what you would have to watch for knowing what it's like to live in Springfield. So let me ask you this, Jay Stevens. What brought you to Springfield, Missouri?
Like all good stories about a girl.
About a girl. Chasing that tail back to a place they know, or we know, as the center of nowhere.
That's where I became the center of nowhere. Came out here thinking that I was going to be done with all my crazy rock and roll lifestyle and just come out here and chill and
try and figure out how to be
got sucked back into radio, got sucked back into rock and roll.
I'll never forget the day that I met Jay. He actually worked for Q for a little bit before he started working with us. And I was sitting in the cave studio, and this is when we were in the food for the shopping center before we moved in this new studios. And this guy walks by with this hair, and I'm like, oh dear Lord.
Yeah, you must have hated me.
No, I didn't hate you. I was just like, okay, all right, well, there he goes. And then once you meet Jay, it's hard not to like the guy. I mean, it's hard.
That boyish
he's
charm.
definitely polarizing, but my thought partner is definitely someone that I'm glad is my thought partner. So yeah, it's crazy. But did you feel like you got a better sense of what this town was?
Yeah, it was cool. Like, because I've know bits and pieces, and I didn't know the history that far back. My musical history of here was kind of more like the 90s based stuff.
Some of the guys that you played with still.
Guys that I know
yeah.
were on MTV, had some record deals and
stuff. Yeah. And
so
there has been.
Yeah, there's been some crazy out of here. But this is good, especially that crazy guitar player guy who was like wild and drinking. And I could relate to that cat for sure.
Were you talking about Lou Whitney?
No. One dude, he was like wild guitar player. He went and demanded some money, 12 grand or something.
Oh, yeah.
That dude seemed like I would have liked to party with that guy.
Jay's like, let's see.
He was the Jay Stevens of the 50s and 60s here, I guess.
We'll talk more of the center of nowhere, this dark side of the stream on 104.7 The K. .7 The K, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 80, discussing the center of nowhere, the spirit and sounds of Springfield, Missouri. Got to give it up to the filmmakers involved in this. Got some great interviews with Brenda Lee, Merle Haggard. They got Soup in there. They had Lou Whitney interviews before he passed. Robbie Folks was in there. Jonathan Richman, Bobby Lloyd Hicks, who was a drummer for the Skeletons, and of course the Ozark Daredevils. And a big chunk of this documentary actually did discuss Lou Whitney. Did you ever get a chance to meet Lou?
No.
I'm not to squash what you guys do in Machine Gun Symphony, but you're not in, or at least you haven't been in this area in an original band. So it would make sense that you didn't ever get a chance to cross paths with Lou, but it's unfortunate because he was an awesome dude. I recorded at his studio several times. Always welcoming, always great. My favorite Lou Whitney story for me was the first time I recorded in there with this band. I don't know if it was the first time I recorded in there in general, but I know it was the first time I had recorded in that studio with the band I was in called Muzzle, and I played lead guitar in it. And I had this massive pedal board, like just huge, had all kinds of like
Everything.
whammy wah
Yeah,
on there,
everything.
wah pedal, delays, all kinds of stuff. We were like a a heavier band, and I would kind of go in there and make weird stuff. And I remember we're setting up to track, and Lou we had somebody actually doing the recording, so Lou wasn't recording us per se. We just paid for the room, paid for the studio time, and Lou was just going to make sure we didn't break anything. And he came out after we had set up, and he looks down on my board, looks at me, goes, "That's a pretty nice talent station you have there." And I'll never forget it, because he's so right. I mean, again, you control the equipment, so it is what it is, but he's so right. And that was Lou, man. The coolest guy, super nice, incredibly talented. But one of the things that I wanted to bring home was, I think Lou was a microcosm of what this area is, as far as if you're in a band, if you're in a musician in this area, there's a place for you to play right now, right? I mean, there's so many great venues, and you don't have to be, it doesn't matter how good you are or what you bring to the table. In Springfield, Missouri, there is a club right now where you can book and play it. Doesn't matter. I mean, they let us play still, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I've got no complaints over here. I'm doing very well.
No, I know
I'm doing very well.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't matter if you want to play at a brewery or coffee house or a club or
there's
whatever.
There's also a lot going on for it's a fairly small town. There's a lot musically going on.
There's something every night,
every weekend, especially. I mean, it's almost like it's too much. It's almost like it just pulls the crowd in too many different directions. There's too many spots. Man.
Sometimes, yes, it definitely gets a little oversaturated, but that isn't a bad thing, especially for people that want variety in their life and they want to see something else.
No, everyone should just come see me. So that's what I'm doing this self-centered.
All right, we're not turning this into a Jay Stevens commercial.
Self-centered. Look, they need to shut them all down for that night, and just everybody needs to come to my show. Don't forget this is
Dark Side of the Stream, not the Jay Stevens commercial. I'm 104.7.
No, always.
.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio, episode 80 of Dark Side of the Stream, discussing the center of nowhere, the spirit and sounds of Springfield, Missouri.
I do wish that it would have got carried on a little bit more. It kind of stopped at, like, it seemed like the 70s, 80s.
Oh, to kind of see what
I wish it would have carried on, to talk about the 90s.
Well, they had Phil from Someone Still Loves You, Boris Shelton in there. And they made national headway, got signed to Polyvinyl and did a tour. And
I wish you would have had like
some of like
Dan's band, Johnny Q Public.
Yeah, Johnny Q Public.
I wish you would have had that. I wish you would have had Flick in there. I wish you would have had King's X. Didn't King's X have some roots from here?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, you could definitely see where the guys that made this documentary kind of were going with like the roots of this area, Americana, country, rockabilly, kind of sticking in that
Jubilee vein. TV show.
There have been a lot of really good musicians and other bands that didn't get mentioned in this, but I mean, again, the documentary was like 2 hours long almost. So I mean, there was so much he could get in, and when you want to put everything in there, but like there's so many great stories about the Ozarks Jubilee being shot here in downtown Springfield, and all the musicians,
which is wild.
That came through. Brenda Lee used to perform there. That story she told about when she was a kid, and Red Foley hired her to play there, and she would get on a Greyhound after school on a Friday.
Yeah, those are different times.
All the way to Springfield by Saturday morning, or so she'd sleep on the bus, get up, do rehearsals, perform that night, get back on the bus Sunday morning, back home to go to bed and go to school the next day.
Different times.
That is unbelievable.
It was also nice to we talked about the Queen City Shout in there, which is actually getting ready to go on now for its 20th year.
That was a cool thing. And again, when you have to be an editor for certain things, like you want these things to be 6 hours long, and that's and it's a good compliment of Springfield, Missouri, because there is so much to talk about.
More content. They could almost do a part 2.
Yeah, I mean
the 90s years, the metal years, the alternative years.
But there are a lot of really good musicians in here, and really it comes back back to the camaraderie that we have in this area is something I definitely don't look past, because I've been able to play with so many different musicians and so many different shows and venues and be a part of so many different cool projects. And that it's just because they're really, this town doesn't like phonies.
Oh,
You know what
no.
I
Wait a
mean?
minute. I got everything
Well,
fooled. I fooled everyone then.
That's the thing. Like, if you're real, whether you're like super good or even if you're just okay, if you're real, people will take you in. But if you try to go out and be like, I'm better than you or whatever, those people slowly but surely get pushed out. And even though, yes, I'm Jay Stevens, you don't act like you don't act like you're better than anyone.
It's all part of the shtick.
Unless you're doing stupid drum
shtick.
fills or your guitar's not.
Yeah, then I'll give you the death look.
Then you're gonna get daddy coming down on you. We will discuss our reviews and what we're watching next on Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. .7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio one more time for another Dark Side of the Stream. Episode 80. This week we discussed the Center of Nowhere, the Spirit and Sounds of Springfield, Missouri.
It was a good hidden gem.
It's a really good find from Jay. Again, you can watch it for free on Tubi. You can buy it on Google Play.
Jay's always out there. I'm always out there mining for hidden gems.
Actually,
you can always count on me.
Actually won a bunch of awards too.
Really? Nice.
American Music Association selection, Maverick Movie Awards Best Director, official selection, St. Louis International Film Festival.
Good for these guys, man.
And part of the Country Music and Museum Hall of Fame in Nashville. So
it's weird that these guys, when they were putting this out, that they didn't hit us up for some press to come here and talk about it.
Again, it's one of those things where
we would have welcomed you with open arms. It
would have been nice, yes, but at the same time, there's so much about this area that it's like, how can you not? You can't. There's so many different things. The only thing that I would say is the addition of the cashew chicken part. Like I
had to, man.
I mean, if all of a sudden we're talking music,
you had to. Come on now, yeah, they had to do that.
We're talking music. We're talking about like, who played here, who's come through here, some of the big names that have lived here, made Springfield their home. Then all of a sudden, cashew chicken. We got to talk about Springfield style cashew chicken.
Yeah,
which is funny, but it is what it is, and that is what has been keeping the broke musicians alive in Springfield. So if that's the way you have to make the connection,
shout out to Leon.
Shout out to Leon or whoever or wherever you get your cashew chicken. So how many pieces of cashew chicken would you give this documentary, Jay?
Good 3.5. I think
3.5. 3.5. Yeah.
Like I said, I would like for it to go a little bit deeper into the 90s, but it was good. It was good for me. It was a good little crash course on
it was well done,
kind of things, how things are around here.
Well shot, great interviews, great knowledge.
Fun.
If you're just now getting to Springfield and you want to know about our rich music scene,
couple cave logos in there too.
Yeah,
as well,
it was nice to see that part that we were there, and I saw so many people in this documentary that I know. It was just crazy. It was like, but really, bottom line, it was really good to see Lou again and hear him, and taking him to the spot where the Carter family lived and all that stuff. Really cool stuff. And that guy knew this town and was just he was the best dude ever. Not only musician, writer, producer, recorder. He was just an awesome guy, and I miss him a lot. Scott and Gin Brothers are on there too. Jody and those dudes. I love those guys. They're the best. So really, really well done documentary, guys. Very well done. And you know how harsh we are in Dark Side of the Stream. If we didn't like it, we would definitely say it.
we would keep it real.
So the next documentary for episode 81 is my pick. I held off on this. I wanted to pick it.
No.
I tried to pick it before you went to Hawaii just to freak you out, because I knew you'd be on a plane for like 30 hours round trip.
Yep.
But unfortunately, we'll have to wait to freak you out till the next time you fly out west. We're going to watch Downfall, the case against Boeing.
I just watched it the other night.
All right,
I already
great.
Did. Yep,
good.
I already did. That was
possibly
my next pick, so I'm going to have to watch some more.
You have to watch something else.
Yeah, I watched it.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it next week. Dark Side of the Stream. Stream us on Facebook Live, 9 a.m. on Thursdays. Download us as a podcast on our 104.7 The Cave app, or watch us on our app or our website, 1047thecave.com. I'm Mike the Intern. This is Jay Stevens reminding you that we watch movies
documentaries
so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.